It's a pleasure to have you here at the Invest Kerala Global Summit 2025. Today is all about learning, exploring and exchanging ideas. I'm Kira Benpaul and I will be your host for the day.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Etienne Roland Peg, Consul General of France, Puducherry and Chennai. Mr. Jimon Kora, CEO of Main Concor. Mr. Matthew Lebior, partner at TNP Consult. Ms. Pratiksha A.K., Director, Business Consulting at Link Innovations. Mr. Sabari Kishore of Campus France. And Mr. Karel Boulanger, Economic Development Officer. And all of you present here. Warm good morning once again. I'm here to give you the introductory notes on the India-France business relationship and how things can be taken forward as far as Kerala is concerned. A researcher recently remarked that in the international arena, India's best friend is France. And we all know that there are lots of investments happening in India from France and vice versa. The economic ties between France and India have a deep and multifaceted foundation and dates back centuries. France has long been one of India's key partners in Europe, and this relationship continues to expand. Bilateral trade between the two nations exceeded US $10 billion and is expected to grow further in the coming years. And there have always been very good diplomatic relations between our two countries. India exports a variety of goods to France, including textiles, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, gems, and jewelry. The Indian pharmaceutical industry in particular plays a significant role in this trade, with Indian companies providing affordable generic medicines to the French market. On the other hand, France exports high-quality goods to India, including machinery, automobiles, luxury products, and aerospace technology. French automotive giants like Citroën, Renault have made inroads into India's automotive markets, while companies like Airbus are collaborating with Indian companies on aircraft manufacturing and defense technologies. The diversity of trade between the two countries reflects the complementary nature of their economies and the potential for our continued growth. In addition to trade, investment, technology, we also have lots of cultural relations and educational exchange happening in our country between the two countries. And they play a crucial role in shaping the relationship between India and France. France is a popular destination for Indian students, particularly in the fields of engineering, fashion management, and art. Alliance Francaise is an example. Coming to the Kerala-France focus, Kerala's ambitious plans to build smart cities provide opportunities for French engineering and construction firms to collaborate on designing and developing sustainable urban spaces that are technologically advanced and environmentally friendly. Collaboration in the field of digital transformation is another area where Kerala and France can strengthen their ties. French companies with expertise in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and digital marketing can find significant opportunities in Kerala's rapidly evolving digital landscape. The institutions like the Indian Institute of Technology in Madras and the Cochin University of Science and Technology, the CUSAT, have collaborated with top French universities in the areas of technology, environmental studies, and marine sciences. Both Kerala and France are committed to innovation and sustainability and economic progress, making this partnership an exciting avenue for growth. Coming to the strength of our state, we all know by now that Kerala has been ranked number 1 in the ease of doing business, which is the latest ranking by the Government of India. And as a state, our average air quality index is much above the national average. And needless to say, we have one of the most literate people in the whole of the country. And we have a robust connectivity, robust logistics. We have 2 international seaports right now in Kerala, Vizhinjam being one of the largest in the country now, and also 4 international airports, inland waterways, and whatnot. We have a vibrant education and skilling, where education meets innovation, empowering a dynamic future. 80% of our power in the state is from renewable sources, and Kerala ranks 3rd for having the maximum number of skillful graduates in India. I was there at Mr. G. Mohan's factory, the Man Cancor, which is a collaboration between Cancor in Kerala and the Man Group, the Man Giants from France. And you would be impressed at the kind of factory, the world-class factory, the world-class green building that they have put up there. Congratulations, Mr. G. Mohan, for having put that up there. So that is the way Kerala is now progressing as an industrial state. Coming to the healthcare sector, which I represent, Kerala has got maximum potential for people from France to invest, because we have some of the best medical resources, medical manpower, medical facilities in the country, and putting at it in the international scene, I think we can give world-class services to any international person who comes here, a citizen from any part of the world, give them the same kind of treatment, the same kind of facilities that they can find anywhere in Europe or in the US or any of the other developed countries across the world. It's said that the next century could be India's, but the next decade could be Kerala's to grow and put ourselves in our rightful place on the world map. All this, in short, is the reason for France as a nation to invest into the best state of India today, Kerala, God's own country. So let's deliberate more and hear from the stalwarts. Thank you and wish you all a good morning.
Now I invite Carl Bolanger, Economic Diplomacy Officer and the moderator of today's session, to please take over.
So good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot for being with us today for this French session. So we'll first start with a keynote address by our Consul General, Mr. Etienne Roland-Piègue, who has been appointed as Consul General in September, and we have a consular jurisdiction covering Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and the Union Territories of Pondicherry and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And so before coming to Kerala and before being in India, Etienne Roland-Piègue had several experiences at the World Bank in Washington as a senior advisor to the senior executive for France, but he also had high-level positions in the French embassies in Japan, in Korea, in Vietnam. So he has this global picture of East Asia, Southeast Asia, and so now that the Indo-Pacific area is the core of our relationship with India, I think he has this global overview of what is at stake today. So I will let him deliver his keynote address about Indo-French relationships and how it can benefit both Kerala and France.
Namaskar. So this is my third visit to Kerala in 3 months, and I can tell you that Kerala is amazing. It is really God's own country. Thank you. So why France and why Kerala? First, to put it in a broader context, France and India share a similar attachment to democracy and to cultural diversity. The last evidence of that goes no further than last week, when the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to Paris to co-chair the AI Action Summit. Equal access to AI, development of large language models free from cultural and ideological bias were key issues addressed during this summit, because our two countries, France and India, chose to bring them on the table. But this passion for debates and for exchange of ideas goes a step further in Kerala. The vibrant cultural scene, the tremendous literary history, the culinary tradition, for French people who pride themselves on being men and people of culture, the appeal of Kerala is really difficult to resist. I was in Calicut last month for the Kerala Literature Festival, alongside the ambassador of France to India. France was the guest country of honor this year. And as a book lover myself, I could only be the happiest man in the world. Can you imagine a literary festival on a beach with hundreds of authors, thousands of books all around me? But what impressed me most was the power of attraction Kerala had on international writers, and especially on French writers. 15 of them came to India just for the festival. Among them were novelists, poets, authors of graphic novels or children's books, but also the French Nobel Prize in Economics, Esther Duflo. You might know her as the wife of Abhijit Banerjee, but she got the Nobel Prize the same year. And her work, I think, has been translated in Malayalam. Esther Duflo's presence at the Kerala Literature Festival was not that surprising. If you know economics, you should know that she devoted her career to the study of poverty reduction programs, and Kerala has been one of the most outstanding performers on that for the last decades. The case of Kerala has been studied by Amartya Sen, another Nobel Prize, and Jean Drèze, a Belgian economist, who coined the expression the Kerala model of development. And this recognition is well deserved because Kerala achieved what no other Indian state has achieved in terms of human development. So, with this robust basis for economic development, I still wonder, why does Kerala remain an uncharted territory for most French companies present in India? So let me be clear here. There are already several leading French companies in Kerala. For instance, Saint-Gobain, a 360-year-old company, which is the #1 glassmaker and construction material leader in India, has an industrial complex in Palakkad. In the aerospace sector, Safran has an R&D unit just near the ISRO, the Indian Space Agency Research Center in Trivandrum. CMA CGM, one of the global leaders in maritime transport, has operations in Kochi port. The state of Kerala is one of the more dynamic markets in India for French EV manufacturers such as Renault and Citroën. For those interested in sports, Decathlon, the sports brand in India, has several retail shops, etc., etc. But only very few French companies have made Kerala one of their key locations in India. And we have the chance today to have executives from two of them. One in the sector of spices, natural flavor, and aromas. So you know about the Rumman Concours and Jimon, who will be our next speaker. And also one IT-based consulting, TNP. I am sure that this benign neglect of Kerala by French companies is not bound to last, especially with the Indo-French relationship reaching new heights both at the political and at the trade levels. First, at the political level, French companies have already committed to a Make in India model for the last few decades, and they keep expanding their footprint throughout India. There are about 750 French companies operating in the country today, ranging from global leading brands to successful SMEs, and employing in total more than 4.5 lakh people. Over the past 10 years, the stock of French FDIs in India have been multiplied by 5. These figures suggest that when there are strong business opportunities in India, French companies are often keen to be among the first mover and thus benefit from a first mover advantage. Second, on the economic side, the long-lasting mutual understanding of our two countries at the political level on key global challenges is a strong asset to bring our business ties even further in the next years, especially at a time when increasing geopolitical fragmentation creates much uncertainties for companies. Uncertainties, but also opportunities. I mentioned the AI Action Summit last week in Paris, which shows that our common priority is to secure our strategic autonomy and to innovate together for the common good. By strategic autonomy or sovereignty, I mean that no other country could tell France or could tell India what to do. By the common good, I mean that we could work together, Indians and French alike, for the interest of humanity and of the whole planet. These political priorities have concrete business translations. It has been the case in the aerospace and the defense industries, of course, because security is the first pillar of our strategic partnership. But it is also more and more the case for the second pillar of the strategic partnership, what we call the Partnership for the Planet, which cover key sectors such as low-carbon energies, including nuclear power, sustainable urban development, EVs, and the blue economy. In all these sectors, developing together the technologies of tomorrow is a common objective of our leaders, French President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is an approach that we would like to be even more systematic between Indian and French partners at all levels. This is why our two leaders have agreed to celebrate 2026 next year as the Indo-French Year of Innovation. This joint commitment aims at highlighting the innovative Indo-French academia-industry partnerships, but also to foster new cutting-edge initiatives between Indian and French stakeholders. Our emphasis on innovation is an opportunity for Kerala to play a bigger role in the Indo-French partnership. The Kerala government is striving to build a knowledge economy, and this long-lasting priority on education and skills development has concrete results. The state is famous for its large pool of qualified talent with very low attrition rates locally. I am also aware of government efforts to ease procedures, to fast-track business initiatives, and to support projects with tangible impacts on economic development, such as infrastructure. In addition to these, providing stability and long-term visibility to foreign companies is key, especially when their projects align with Kerala's ambition of setting new standards of sustainable business and sustainable development. I see room for more synergies between Kerala and France in a range of key innovative sectors on which we both have complementary expertise to harness. For instance, the shipbuilding and maritime industry for the development of low carbon and smart vessels. With the French ambassador, we visited Cochin shipyards 3 weeks ago, and just yesterday, I met with the young CEO of Navalt, the group that constructs electric boats. So his name is Sandit Thandasheri, and he studied in France. He did his MBA at INSEAD. So I could quote other sectors like the food and flavor processing industries, on which both Kerala and France share a rich heritage and strong technology capabilities. But more on that later by Mankankor. The health and medical device sector, here also, France hosts a leading ecosystem in this sector, ranging from world-class research institutes to high-tech equipment providers. In all these sectors and others, business partnerships, skills development programs, and people-to-people exchange are initiatives that we would like to promote between Kerala and France. This is why I came here to the Invest Kerala Forum today with my colleagues, Carl Boulanger, and the others who will introduce themselves. So my goal today is to get a sense of Kerala's strength in some focus sectors and to promote these strengths with French companies and institutions looking towards India. But for that, I need your help. Kerala companies and Kerala innovators should also brand themselves more and choose France to prospect the most innovative partners. This is still work in progress. When I took up my position as Consul General 5 months ago, I was surprised to learn that Kerala hosts a vibrant startup ecosystem ranked among the best performers in the country by Startup India, with several incubators specialized in deep tech niche technologies. However, most French executives of French international companies thinking about tech in India do not have Kerala in mind. They focus on cities like Bangalore or Hyderabad and on prestigious institutions like the IIT Madras Research Park. This is why I encourage all Kerala innovators to think global and to think about allying with French partners to scale up. Our consulate, based in Puducherry, with an office in Chennai, is here to help and to facilitate connections with French companies already present in India, as well as with our trade agency, Business France. Beyond India, I encourage you to leverage the multiple international trade shows held in France in order to prospect French partners, especially the Vivatech Summit, which is the biggest tech and IT summit in Europe. We also have in Paris the world's biggest startup campus called Station F, open to talents from all over the world, with several Indian entrepreneurs who chose to develop their startup from this incubator Station F. And of course, last week, the AI Action Summit in Paris showed that France is now a leading innovation hub on AI, with clusters gathering global investors, but also startups and research institutions. I should add that France has a specific visa scheme to welcome global talents and entrepreneurs wishing to settle in France. And I, with my colleagues, are here to help in the process. So we have this strong innovation ecosystem in France. Here I would like to quote from Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Alphabet, who highlighted that, and here I quote, "Paris is a global center of innovation and a magnet for talent." When he came to Paris last year to inaugurate Google's AI hub. This appeal to Kerala innovators is not for seasoned entrepreneurs only, but also for students and young researchers. Well-trained youth is one of Kerala's biggest advantage, and we are conscious of that. Keralites, students from Kerala, represent 20% of Indian students in France today. With due respect to the diplomats in the room, these students, you, should be the ambassadors of Kerala. You should promote Kerala and the Kerala brand while pursuing your studies abroad, and you will be welcome in France. We have this target of reaching 30,000 Indian students in France by year 2030. This means achieving triple of today's number of students in 5 years' time. This is an ambitious target, but our government has set up specific schemes to make it possible, and our Campus France manager will give you more details later during the session. So Kerala will be one of the drivers of this trend. This is why one of my priorities as Consul General is also to facilitate long-term partnerships between French and Indian academic institutions. To conclude, my key message is that the Indo-French partnership is today driven by innovation, offering a unique opportunity for stronger business and people-to-people connections between Kerala and France. Thank you.
And as a moderator, we also have Ms. Pratiksha from Link Innovations. And Link Innovations is basically an innovation platform connecting startups, corporates, other institutions. It was founded in France, but also has a strong presence in India. And Ms. Pratiksha herself, she has more than 15 years of experience in this innovation ecosystem. So I think she has the best position to moderate with in a very insightful way this panel session. So, floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm Pratiksha. I'm the Director of Business Consulting at Link. So, Link Innovations is an innovation consulting firm. We started back in France, like Carl mentioned, in the 2000s. It was started by a group of entrepreneurs to support other entrepreneurs, other startups to come up and build business in France. This company was then called Numa, and the company then migrated to other parts of the world. It evolved into different types of innovation consulting, and the company has been, in kind of existence for the last 15 plus years. And we are in Moscow, we are in New York, in Berlin, in India, in Bangalore. So we work out of our Bangalore office in India. We are kind of a small team compared to what we have here in terms of an elite panel. And I sort of majorly kind of take care of the innovation consulting piece, where we work with a lot of large corporates, especially their GCCs and ER&D centers, in order to help them collaborate with startups, with venture funds, with academia, with students, and a lot more. That's what we primarily do. So we are at the heart of innovation. We work out of, again, our Bangalore office. We were earlier called Numa Bengaluru, and we have recently rebranded to Link. So you can, if any of the startups who are out there, if you want to get in touch, please feel free to do that. So I think I will quickly move to the context of today's session. The whole idea of today's panel is on how French companies can leverage Kerala and innovate through Kerala and from Kerala. And it's very important to know, and I'm a Keralite myself. I migrated to Bangalore a couple of years ago. So I'm quite excited to have Jimon and Matthew here with us for the panel. So my first question, again, I think our Consul General had spoken a lot about how India and France is strengthening ties. And the recent AI Action Summit is also a great example of how this is moving forward. And as a company, we also see how a lot of French companies are also approaching India, specifically in working with startups. So, we also work with companies like L'Oreal, Saint-Gobain. With Airbus, we help Airbus set up their innovation center in India a couple of years ago. So if you see, there is a lot of push from both ends. So my first question on that context to you, Jimon, is how did you approach, as a company, what was your strategy when you looked at India and Kerala, and especially Kerala has a century-old history of spices and how things are done here and how the trade has happened over the years. So what do you have to say about your journey so far in Kerala, and how has it been?
Good morning, everyone. That's a very loaded question, and there's a lot of history that we'll have to go into it to answer that right. But spices, India and Kerala has been the capital for the last, not just a century, but probably over 2 or 3 millennia, where Arab traders have been taking spices from Kerala, and without disclosing the origin, the material used to go to Europe until Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route and then opened the doors for colonization, all because of a spice called pepper, black pepper. And that really changed the political map of the world thanks to black pepper. So that's how, when you go back in history, that's the impact of it. Coming to how we started off on this whole joint, this work with French companies, we've been in existence since 1969-70, so it's about 54 years old now, 55 years old. When we started off the extracts, botanical extracts division here at Angamali, small unit in 69-70, the market was outside of India, because in India everybody had spices. You don't need to have go and buy spice extracts or essential oils. You get fresh spice, you use it in your cuisine. But outside of India, people needed value-added products because it helped in storage, it helped in shipping, logistics, all of that. And formulation is easy when it is all completely standardized. So we've been in this business for some years. We had a joint venture with a US-based company until 95, and back again as a family-owned company from 95. When I joined the business in 94, MAN was my first customer. That's how this relationship started. Started selling into MAN in 94. And that relationship built trust, built confidence that irrespective of the conditions, because commodities are always, it always has cycles, ups and downs. So you have good times, you have bad times. But if you stick around and consciously deliver on every single contract with the right quality over a period of time, then your partner, your customer will start looking at you as a partner and would want to take a higher role in your existence and your continuity. So when we were looking for strategic partners in early 2010s, I was on a routine visit to MAN in France and met with the top management team. They got to know that we were looking for strategic partners and said, Jimon, we are interested in working out a deal with Cancor. And that's how MAN Cancor came into existence. In 2014, MAN took a majority stake, and in a year and a half, MAN figured out that if investments have to come in, it is better to fully take the stakes. And in 2016, MAN took 100% stakes at Cancor, and today it's a wholly owned subsidiary of MAN and MAN Cancor. Now, the crux of what Cancor does is all natural extracts, everything to do with naturals and botanicals. So why Kerala? So when we started off in 69-70, most of the spices in India were in and around Kerala. Black pepper, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, nutmeg, mace. All of this came from Kerala. Today, it's even more widespread from all over the world. But what has happened over the years is that Kerala has built itself to become a very powerful processing hub for spices because of the ecosystem that we have developed over the last 50 years. So you have that intelligence, that IP, the knowledge of how to work with spices, the seasonalities of spices, irrespective of whether it comes from Kerala or from any other parts of the world. We import raw material from nearly 30 countries around the world today, process it in Kerala, and we export it. That's the kind of knowledge that Kerala has and has developed over years. It's not overnight. That's an expertise that does not come by being in business over a year or 2 years. So this is developed, and that's how and today I would happily say that Kerala commands literally 60-70% of the world market share in spice extracts, predominantly by just 3 companies, all Kerala based within a radius of 25 kilometers of each other. That's the strength that Kerala has. And when MAN came in, they saw that strength and they said, okay, we are doing this because we want to use Kerala as the capital for spices for the MAN world. And MAN has offices in 50 countries around the world, R&D centers all across the world, operates in 90 countries around the world. So when you start off something here in Kerala as a natural ingredient hub and with spokes all over the world, that's what we bring as Kerala's expertise. And that relationship, and upon seeing what we are able to bring, MAN has invested in the last 6 years, close to nearly $60 million into Kerala. That's the confidence that we can bring in because we have the capability, we have the ability, we have the resources, we have the understanding and the intelligence to create better products year on year. So that's what Kerala stands for, and that's what Cancor has stood for. And this relationship has blossomed, and because of this, it has had a cascading effect. Now, MAN looks at India as a change, a place of change, where the investments that they would otherwise have done in other Southeast Asian countries or even in Europe are now being made in India in aroma chemicals, in flavors, in fragrances. Some of it also is coming to Kerala. So there is a level of confidence that has gone up, a trust, and that comes with absolute transparency in your working. And it also is important to match your thoughts culturally. This is one very key aspect that any organization that looks for such collaborations should also look at. The cultural, I would say, it should go along well. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. And in that sense, as the Consul General mentioned earlier, Etienne, mentioned very clearly that there are shared passions. You know, France is very passionate about food, and so are we. France is very passionate about movies, so are we. But those are small things which I would say. But there are even greater things. Emotionally, I would say we are very close to how the French think and work, and that also helps connect.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jimon. I do have like an add-on question around, what has changed in Kerala and India overall, and what do you see as a change? But before that, I would really like to ask you, Matthew, a couple of things. So how did this company really explore Kerala as a place to, kind of have a team and hire, and why Kerala when you see that a lot of GCCs and large centers are across the different metros? Bangalore and Mumbai and Delhi. I know you have a team in Mumbai, but your second largest, if I'm not wrong, after France is Kerala. So please talk about your journey and how this has happened.
Thank you. Thanks for your question. Just a short presentation about TNP. TNP is a global firm based in Paris. So it's still a young firm because we've been created by two guys in 2007, so less than 20 years back. And we are specialized in digital transformation and more or less transformation itself. And transformation, we rely on two things, people and technology. Without technology, without people, you don't transform companies. And our clients are mostly blue chip companies, French first. We used to work a lot for Renault in the automotive sector, for banks. But more and more, as we are global now, we have customers all over the world. And out of India, we serve roughly 1/3 France, 1/3 India, and 1/3 the rest of the world, which is Asia, Middle East, and Africa. So why Kerala and not the rest of India? Maybe my personal story. The first time I came in India, it was 2010. I used to work for Capgemini, which is a success story in the IT landscape. It's a French company, Capgemini. And why they are so good now is because their #1 subsidiary is India, not France. They have more than 180,000 people working all over India, and in France, only 60,000. So we at TNP, we are not yet there because our second subsidiary is India. #1 is still France, but we are catching up. And we select Kerala just by chance. And this is not a good way to select a place, but we are lucky enough to meet great people here. And I came here in 2011, first time, and I was impressed by the quality of people, the level of education, and also that the fact that you are international minded. We meet a lot of Kerala people everywhere in the world, in the US, in Dubai. It's obviously a Kerala state now. It's a subsidiary of Kerala. And we were quite impressed by that. And we started a business here. We are very, very small. There was one guy here in the room, was there at the beginning. And we stopped. We keep growing out of Kerala. Why? Because we could find talent. There's a great talent pool in Kerala. And in our domain, technology and management consulting, we need good brains, and we could find that here in Kerala, and a fantastic stability, because for the time being, we only had 5% turnover in 7-8 years, which is amazing. If you go to Bangalore is a fantastic city, a lot of talent is booming and so on, but we have in Bangalore, there's 30% attrition rate. So it means that every 3 years, we have to replace your people. We don't like that. We prefer to have a good stability and grow our people because our workforce is still young, and to grow our people out of Kerala because we can capitalize on these skills. And that's why we are committed to stay here in Kerala as the main hub for not only for India, but for the whole Asia. And we do have small offices in Mumbai and Bangalore, but it's more for client-facing, not for production, delivery. And just I invite you to come to visit our office. We have a brand new office at Info Park, the Lulu Cyber City. And if I remember, Info Park, the first time I came here in 2011, there was nothing. So it's a big, big change.
It's almost like we just spoke about before the session about Hebbal in Bangalore and how it has changed. So great, it's changed for good, and we're very happy that you are in Kerala and you really have experienced the kind of talent we have here. So again, coming back to you, Jimon, a couple of questions. I think I really wanted to add on to that point. You spoke about how it has changed over the years. Could you tell us a little more about what has changed? And on top of it, if you could also add on what you, as a company, what have you done in terms of innovation and R&D in Kerala, and what do you see as the future of this business? And if there are any young entrepreneurs here who are exploring your sector, what do you have for them?
Yeah, so any relationship like this is like a marriage. First you like each other, you have a courtship, and then you get married. And after you get married, you try to figure out whether, okay, what did she make today for breakfast? Is this sambar or is it something else? But you still have to figure out, because she's probably coming from Tamil Nadu and you are coming from Bangalore or Chennai, and you are coming from maybe Cochin. So the sambar there and the sambar here taste different. It's exactly like that here. So you have to figure out what the skill sets are, what the qualities are, and that's exactly what happens in such a collaboration as well. So when this happened between MAN and Cancor, that's when the potential of what Cancor stood for in terms of all our knowledge over the last 50 years dealing with botanical extracts, the science of it, the knowledge of where the raw material is, the seasonalities of it. This was a huge repository of knowledge for MAN, which they did not have. And that opened doors for them in several customers of theirs globally. And those customers were not open to Cancor. That's what synergy is in a relationship. Okay, so you bring some strengths, the other person also brings some strengths, and then you blossom into what your true capabilities are. And when that happens, and when suddenly, consistently your wife is giving you some good stuff, you'll go and get her a necklace, make her happy, a ring or something like that. So then you start investing, and that's what will happen. So MAN is invested in Cancor, seeing the potential here. And then you have children. So you have to bring the children up, and that's exactly what is happening. So once this happens, you see the investments coming in, you become a truly world-class organization that is setting benchmarks in the industry, and then you want to explore further. What can I do more in India? This is fantastic. Now let's see, what about aroma chemicals? Because the challenges of production due to environmental norms and also cost of labor in Europe is going up. Can we do it with the same quality standards or even better, using similar or even better manpower in India? That you're opening those doors out here because of the confidence that you have in your current relationship. That is important. And today there are 3 other MAN units which have opened up, which has got nothing to do with spices. You see, that's how this confidence builds up, and MAN then has taken a decision. In fact, many of the investments that were originally planned for China has now moved to India because of the confidence they have in India, the people of India, the cultural fit that is in India, the transparency that we as Indians bring in to a conversation and in our actions, and that's evident. That's the change that we are seeing, the mindset change, why India is important. And from a Kerala perspective, we have nearly 50% of the biodiversity literally of the world. The Western Ghats is phenomenal in that sense. It's not explored, and if explored in the right way, there is tremendous potential for it. So there's potential everywhere in India. How do we make the best of it? We have a good foundation. How do we build upon it? Did I answer your question?
Yes. So I'm trying to understand. So in that sense, you're saying there is a cultural fit. So Kerala is, culturally, in terms of the traditional ways of working, we are there, and plus we have a lot of modern, understanding of technology and things that has come up also over the years. So just adding on to what you said, I've seen other entrepreneurs also talk about it more, that there's a good blend which makes it easier for companies to move forward as well. Great. Great. So Matthew, the next question to you. So again, in terms of evolution of especially in strategy, in IT, in digital transformation, so how do you see that change happening in India, and of course, especially in Kerala, in terms of, we all know the talent is great. So what have you seen as a change happen over the years after you've sort of come into Kerala?
I would say in terms of technology, India is at the leading edge, and not only by the designing and inventing new technologies, but also adoption. And I do believe that today adoption is higher in India than in France sometimes. And in terms of technology, you have, let's say, a simpler, down-to-earth approach, rather than in France, we are sometimes too sophisticated and too complex, because this is in France we like complex things, because we have the feeling that we are very clever and we can handle this complexity. And at the end in India, there's a lot of, the IT community is huge. It's roughly 50% of the world community, digital community, is Indian. So of course, it's easier to design and invent in India. We are still daring. We are innovators. We are more in the conquistador mode sometimes, because we like to move. We like to fight hierarchy. Don't forget that we did a lot of revolutions in France. We beheaded a king. And this French spirit is sometimes good for innovation, because we are willing to kill the old orders a little bit more than India. And I keep saying to my team, please, don't ask me, hey, boss, what should I do? Don't ask me, hey, what does please you? No, I want you to be more interactive and to get a fighting spirit to spur innovation. That's the way where we can, I think, the way it works together with my dear Indian colleagues is to get more, let's say, to be, I always say, no, it's not master and slave. Huh? It's not at all like that. What we have sometimes in the spirit of India is to say, oh, I am a service center, I am cheap, and I will do the maximum to please my master. No, you are the masters now. You have more engineers, more tech guys than we do have in France. And the best example is now the CEOs of the major technology firms are Indian. Alphabet, Microsoft, willing to move things and to behead the kings.
Thank you for that. And my CEO is French as well. So yeah, she would resonate with that clearly. So I think great. This was a great discussion. We are actually overshot the time. If there are any last advice or suggestions or anything that you would like to communicate, maybe you can start with Matthew.
Just for Kerala, it's a great state. So keep pushing, keep advertising, keep marketing your great state, and and there will be much more to come. And it could be the new. I wouldn't say the new Dubai, but I would say your own destiny, and keep building that. I'm very happy to be part of that.
Thank you. And one of the greatest capabilities that Keralites have is the ability to migrate, move, evolve. And there's also a very funny saying that if you go to the moon, you'll see a tea shop by a Malayali. So it's that good in terms of how we migrate and evolve as people. So to you, Jimon, if you could share some last thoughts.
Typically, from Kerala, if you look at it, people do migrate, as you say. But they have been migrating based on the language of the country they migrate to. Predominantly English-speaking countries. I think that's one small change that we have to actually make, because if you look at Europe, it is France, Germany, that is actually in a very strong position, and that literally covers most of Europe's GDP. So here is an opportunity for us to look at France, and I would say France is a much better cultural fit to Kerala than Germany is. No offense to Germany, though. So that way, I would say France needs to occupy that first spot in your mind when looking at non-English speaking places to migrate to, if migration is an option for some of you. But also in terms of the opportunities. What is it that you can also look at taking from India into France as a business person? That is also, those opportunities are there. Where can you tie up? Like MAN and Cancor has tied up. I'm sure there are other areas of excellence where we could have these strong collaborations. And 750 companies, French companies, are operating in India today. Which of these 750 companies would you like to speak to and understand where we can exchange views and build a collaboration? It takes time to build that trust, but it can be done. And we are good at it because we are honest and transparent. That makes us very different from many other players who would compete with us. That's my take.
Thank you very much, and thank you. So you can meet the panelists offline after the session in case you have any questions. Thank you.
So yeah, thanks a lot, Mathieu, Jimon, Pratiksha. And actually, Jimon, you made the transition perfect because our next intervention will be from Sabari Kishore, who is the Campus Funds Manager. So now we talked a lot about how French companies and Kerala have built some things together in the past and keep now expanding and looking towards the future. And also we'll talk about the future now, about how Kerala people, students, innovators are welcome to France because there are many opportunities to explore there. And as Jimon said, the cultural fit makes a difference. Although we don't share the same language, we have a lot in common, and that can definitely be an asset for Kerala people in the future. So Sabari, over to you.
Hi, very warm good morning to everyone. So I won't take much of your time. So I'll be very quick with the innovation idea, the academic collaboration, what France is looking forward from India as well as from Kerala. So we were already discussing a few factors about the AI revolution, how the AI is growing globally. So recently in Paris, we had a global summit which providing information or which providing a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence, AI, how it is combining with the industry. Also the Prime Minister Modi. So we had a discussion about a global summit which happened about AI and other things. Also France is becoming a country for new startups and investment. So many Indians and many people across the globe are coming to France to do their investment and start their startups. So globally speaking, we have more than 25,000 tech companies are emerging in France. Also, we do have 650 companies are already started the process of AI revolution and the investment practice. So we are trying to have more updated or upgraded discussions or innovation in terms of the growing artificial intelligence and other business sector. Also, we need to know that now the business industry startups are a little bit aligned with the technology. For example, AI, data technology and other things. So France is one of our innovation center which help the budding investors or budding entrepreneur to know more information. Can we go to the other slide? Okay. So in terms of that, France, we are inviting a lot of young investors or entrepreneurs to be a part of our ecosystem. So we do have dedicated visa for the entrepreneurs. Also, we have the visa for the young researchers, which is called Talent Passport. So France is a country of innovation, research, And our education system, our economy is more into the research side. So we are welcoming a lot of Indian researchers to be a part of our research laboratory. For example, like every year a bunch of students or the researchers from the Indian Space Science Technology Cochin University are traveling to France, and they are trying to do their innovation, the research practice in the French laboratory. Also, we, in the sense Campus France, as well as the consulate in Pondicherry, are eagerly looking to send a lot of researchers and the budding entrepreneurs to be a part of France and the French education system. So we were constantly discussing about the culture, and we were discussing about the technology, the technical advancement, what we need to gain to improve our business sector or improve our job sector. So France, we are one of the ranked academic innovation country when we compare with across Europe, and we do have globally ranked university welcoming Indian students or the students from Kerala to upgrade or to upskill their knowledge. So as we discussed earlier, many Indian students from Kerala are migrating different part of the world, and they are trying to settle there or migrate and to become a permanent residence in that country. But France operate a little bit in a different way. We are trying to upskill the young graduates with the knowledge and the technology what we have, and we are trying to educate our budding graduates to know more about the industry, to know more about the research activities. So in 2023, 1,600 students from Kerala traveled to France to do their higher education. So it's I think in 2024 it was 1,800. So we could see a gradual progression in the number of students who's interested to do their education or research activities in France. So and Campus France, we are supporting the students to do their higher education or to find out a better universities in France. So along with that, I just want to bring this during the inaugural ceremony happened yesterday. The Chief Minister, the Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, was also addressing about the higher education opportunity, how Kerala want to collaborate with the higher universities abroad. And France is opening a door to have a close collaboration with the Indian institution as well as French universities. So we already having an existing MOU with many of universities and schools from Kerala to send the young students to do or to know more about the international. So Campus France, so we are a department which comes under the French Higher Education Ministry and External Affairs. So we support the students or the companies to connect with the institutions in France. So ideally, you might be having companies, you might be having a business project, but you want to gain the international knowledge. If you want to know more about the international market, so generally the companies in Bangalore, in Delhi, they try to send their employees as a part to do a sabbatical program in abroad countries. So France is open for that. So if you want to know more about all this information, you can connect with Campus France. And we offer masters, bachelors, and research. But here I wish to explain a lot more about the exchange and the research activities happening in France. So France, we are inviting a lot of researchers to do their research in the well-known laboratories, because in the area of pharmaceutical, in the area of nanotechnology, aviation, aeronautical, so we do have a lot of research happening in our country. So we, the French higher education invites the Indian PhD aspirants or a postdoc students to come and do their research in our lab. So for example, pharmaceutical industry is a budding industry in Kerala. Also, pharmaceutical industry is looking into more specialized in the nanomedicine and other area. So France, we do have a lot of research or niche research activities happening in these specialized area. So we are happy to welcome a lot of researchers and PhD aspirants to our country. And we offer programs in bachelor's, master's, and Class International, which is our new project, a pilot project running for the 12th grade students. I think it's not necessary that we need to discuss here. Let's go to the answer. Let's skip this. Also, we offer funding for the students. So I know that like when you think about to do a PhD or a research in France, it can be a little bit difficult for the Indian students, but the French government, the French higher education department is also trying to fund for that. So which means from the French CNRS project, or else we are collaborated with the CEFIPRA project to fund for the researchers and the students who's interested to do their collaboration with France. And about the language, so we were talking about the cultural integration and the cultural collaboration with France. So when we think about France, yes, French language is one of the most important thing. And if you want to have more collaboration with the French company, I think like TNP already did a language preparatory program with Alliance Française, which is part of our French network. Similar way, we also open this door to all the companies. If you want to know about the French language, if you want to know about the French culture, so we are happy to support all of you by offering the French language program and other cultural collaborations with Alliance Française. And as we already discussed, more than 750 French companies are in India, and they are looking for a lot of young employees to be a part of them. So most of the companies, we had a discussion, and they said that they are happy to accept the students or the young graduates who got a French flavor. So French flavor in the sense the education, maybe something related to the research. So if you are doing your sabbatical or an exchange with the France and the French university, it is easy to co-work or cooperate with the French companies here. Also, France is popular for hospitality, tourism, and a lot of tourism investments are also happening in India. So last year, we also conducted a tourism promotional activities as a part of our French embassy in Kochi, I think in the same place itself. So French language is also a major spoken language. It's the 5th major spoken language. It's also used in many of the national society, including UN and other areas. So we have our, so as I already told you, like if you want to know about French language, French culture, Alliance Française Network is open to have a deep discussion about all these French activities. And Campus France, we are based in Kochi. So Alliance Française and Campus France, we do have office in Kochi, and we are happy to meet you all in person, and we are happy to give you a lot of information about the cultural integration, academic collaboration, and to connect with the companies which is based in India and in France. So this is not about migration as such. So we are asking the young graduates or the students to come to France, learn a lot, get your information, get more updated knowledge, which you can come back to India and which you can invest in your country. So this way we can see a huge difference in the coming, the business sector, also in the other research sectors. Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sabari, for this great panorama of the possibilities for Kerala people to come to France, not only as tourists, but for business and for studies. And now I think that we approached a lot of aspects on the business side, on the studies side. So I think it's time to wrap up. But just wanted to highlight again what the Consul General said, what our dear panelists also shared, that there is this momentum in the Indo-French relationship. We're bringing it to the next step. It used to be a lot focused on security, and Kochi was part of this, with a lot of Navy ships, French Navy ships coming to Kochi. And now we're exploring new areas of cooperation, be it still on the security, on the strategic industries. Like Consul General said, the shipping industry is really important in Kerala. There is an expertise here, and French companies are willing to explore it. We have a delegation of French companies coming in October, and they will be in Kochi as well. On the oceans and the maritime cooperation, we have this big United Nations conference on the oceans in Nice, in France, in June. So we also welcome Kerala people to this conference, because Kerala is one of the pioneer states in India in terms of disaster prevention when it comes to the maritime the rise of the oceans, for example. And so there are other sectors as well. We talked about the sustainability of the planet, and I think the food sector is a key sector in that, and Kerala has an expertise in this sector that will be happy to expand the relationship as well in this sector. And finally, the people-to-people pillar of our partnership is extremely important. Kerala's biggest asset is maybe the wide pool of qualified talent, some skills that you wouldn't find elsewhere. And that's why we would like to bring more Kerala people to France for studies, for entrepreneurship. So I think, and I hope we gave an overview of all the possibilities for the Indo-French and the Kerala-French relationships to grow in the future. So now I just want to thank you all for your attention today, to thank Mr. Bibu from FICCI and all the organizers for this brilliant summit, really, which was really a great introduction to what Kerala has to offer to foreign companies, to foreign investors. And also wants to thank you, our dear panelists, Pratiksha, Jimon, Matthew, Sabari, for this very great overview of possibilities for studying in France and learn French. And of course, our Consul General, for your valuable time and for your great, as well, appeal for the new rooms for collaboration between France and Kerala. Thanks a lot, and I wish you a very nice day.
Of our deep appreciation and gratitude, we would now like to felicitate our esteemed dignitaries with a memento. To do the honors, I invite the chairman, KSIDC, Sri Balagopal sir, to kindly come forward and present the memento to the speakers. First, to Mr. Etienne Rollin Peake, Consul General of France in Puducherry and Chennai. Mr. BPV Punnuran, FICCI, KESE, Health and Medical Devices Subcommittee and Director, Medivision Scan and Diagnostic Research Center, Private Limited. Mr. Jimoon Kora, CEO of MAN Cancor. Mr. Matthew Lebior, Partner at TNP Consultants. Ms. Pratisha A.K., Director, Business Consulting at Link Innovations. Mr. M. Shabari Kishore, Campus, France. And finally, to Mr. Carl Balanga, Economic Diplomacy Officer. Thank you, sir.